Yes, all the player interviews are over, but now it's time for the essential interviews here in summer. Athletic trainer, director of sports medicine here at Southern Illinois University. It's none other than Riley Hoistad, who stops on by to join us. It's been a busy summer for him, so we've had to put him towards the end because trying to get him early on, you're pretty busy throughout the summer. You know, not just you and your whole staff from – I know I say it somewhat jokingly, but it is a extremely busy summer for you around this program. But I know not just you, Riley, your whole staff from all the camps that go on into the summer, of course, all the other teams who are here. Your staff is hard at work here in the summer months too.
Yeah, we got a lot of things going on just, with softball, baseball, and track. Their sports, their seasons go through the school year, so it kind of goes unnoticed by the outside public where we're still kind of grinding away with all that stuff. But then, as soon as summer starts, that's when basketball and football pick back up. Volleyball has been here all summer getting some stuff done too. So, yeah, it's been a hectic summer, but a calm summer. Trying to enjoy some of the weather, but getting things going. We've got a really good staff, sports medicine wise. We just hired our soccer person as well, so we're at a full staff right now, and it's been really fun. Just the people that I work with have been great. With my process of getting into the director role. So, shout out to them. They make everything so easy for me on a day-to-day basis. So that's been huge.
We'll get into basketball because, of course, this is the Summer Access content series for men's basketball as we catch up with you. But to kind of further that point, I think our fans will remember your interview a year ago, which that would have been going into your first full year as the head of sports medicine here on campus and the athletic training staff. Now that you've had going into year 2 or 2 full years around it, where do you sense like, hey, I like my staff, I like where we're going, things that you kind of wanted to bring in that leadership piece?
Yeah, I think that first full year, definitely a transition year for everybody, just kind of with some different things. Schools trying to do some stuff, sports medicine we're trying to do some stuff, but I've been able to lean on all of them heavily, and it's been awesome because they bring just so much joy to the training room and just a positive vibe with no matter what's going. We'll take our dings along the season with injuries and different things. Like I always tell people that sports medicine is basically the only group that brings negative announcements
yeah.
or negative, things to the coaching staff. Like we never have anything positive to say. It's always this person's out, this is how long they're going to be out, and by the time we get somebody back, somebody else is getting out. So, we have to create our own positive energy in the training room. We try to keep it light and keep it going. So the staff that we have is phenomenal. Like I really enjoy coming to work every day just to see all those people. So they do a good job of working with their individual teams, but we all collectively work really well together when our athletes or different athletes are in the athletic training room.
You talk about different athletes, and when we do transition into basketball and look at this program, maybe the transfer portal in terms of roster management, yeah, no doubt it affects the coaches' lives because they're trying to redo their roster. But in terms of day-to-day of getting to know athletes, their kind of routine, their rhythm, it really affects your day-to-day as well. How do you approach it, Riley? Now there's 6 guys who are back. That's more than a year ago, so that helps probably in terms of knowing a little bit what to expect. But now when it is almost every other year, you're bringing in a lot of new guys. How do you kind of set up the schedule and trying to figure out, okay, I know for Isaiah Stafford, who's been doing a lot of rehab and has spoke really highly of you and Coach Showtime, getting him back to as close to full strength as he can be. You guys are doing a great job with him of trying to figure out, hey, here are these guys' personalities. Here's where I think they can fit in and where I can fit into their routine.
Sure, yeah. The biggest thing is trying to build that rapport with the athlete right away. And it's tough with everyone, when you get 8 new guys this year, trying to figure out what kind of what their personality is. If they're quiet and they kind of keep to themselves, and you kind of got to dig a little bit more to try to get that trust between them, or you get the Jalen Hayes where he's loud. Yeah, he's loud. He's energetic. He's easy to joke with. You can give it to him. He'll give it right back to you, and just trying to build that trust right away. So that's the biggest thing that you have to do from the time that they come in on their visit and you meet them to the time that they get to campus and you're taking them through their physical, because not everything pops up on the physical that, you get a couple months down the road and they're like, oh, yeah, I actually had this going on, blah, blah, blah. And it, kind of takes you by surprise. And then you got to backtrack a little bit. But just building that rapport is the biggest thing. And, the guys that we have on the team this year are awesome. They, everybody has said it in their interview so far, from the players to the staff, that there's just so much joy on the court, in the locker room, in the athletic training room. We've had a couple of days after open gyms where we're competing at a high level, and it's a close series, and one team wins, one team loses, and the playful arguments have spilled into the athletic training room, and it gets kind of loud and gets kind of hectic, and it's funny, and you want to tell them to quiet down because there's other athletes in there, but going into this year, it's just so much excitement, so much joy that I just listen to it, and I got a smile on my face the entire time. Just they're joking around, so it's been really fun, and that's what makes it easy this year, because everybody is so collectively in the same route where they want to hang out with each other and they want to be doing the right thing. So it makes it a lot easier building that connection with these athletes. So that's been a huge help. But just kind of rambling a little bit, but going back to your question of just individually talking to each person that's coming into the athletic training room with what they have got going on is the biggest way to build that rapport and get them to just ultimately trust you. And that's my biggest goal, is just have them know that I've got their back and I have what's best, their best interest out for them, because I don't want to put them on the court if they don't feel comfortable. And the coaches obviously don't want them to be out on the court if they're not feeling comfortable, because that's when it, amplifies and gets worse. So just trying to make sure that they're confident in what I'm doing and what they're doing to make sure that they're succeeding on the court.
I'm not going to let you fully off the hook. You were kind of painting this picture of there's a lot of friendly arguments, and there are. I can hear them as I go by, but for our fans who are watching and listening, however they take this in, you're a stirrer now. Like, you will stir that pot. Like, I don't want to just, don't just be like, oh, the guys come in, and they throw. You will input your – let's just say you pick your moments very well.
Absolutely.
And most of the time, it's not to cool the temperature down. It's we're going to crank this thing up just a little bit more.
I've been known to instigate a lot of things, whether we're in practice, in the training room, in the locker room, And you have to pick the person that is going to argue back with you, because then I just I throw it in there. Like you said, I stir the pot, but then I always make sure somebody else is on the other side of the argument, so those two guys are arguing, and I'm just sitting there laughing. So I've been doing that for years, though. So it's one thing that I really enjoy doing.
I don't know if challenge is the right word, but when you have someone come in like Isaiah Stafford, who, of course, is coming off a very severe injury in terms of an ACL, he's done probably a good chunk of his rehab at another school. Now it kind of transitions to underneath you. What do you do of maybe reaching out to Valpo, seeing, hey, picking their brain on what worked for Isaiah, to then when he gets here of, all right, now that he's here are areas where I can push him, and how you take as much area in him and focus on him to make sure that, hey, he's going to be the best version of himself that he can be when this season gets rolling.
For sure. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, again, talking with the athlete, trying to figure out where they're at with their rehab. With Isaiah, he came in and was fully cleared for basketball activity. So a little bit easier in a sense, because you don't have to pick up on a specific rehab protocol, because some orthopedics, when they do their surgery, they're like, hey, this is the program. They have to stick to it, whether they transfer or not. Dr. Davis does a really good job working with the basketball team, and whether guys are coming in or leaving, doing a transfer of care and doing our evals and all that stuff. And same thing with Dr. Schoenwolf. Those two physicians do a really good job of, when we have new athletes coming in, seeing where we're at, getting the scans that we have, the surgical notes, stuff like that, and then we'll collectively develop a plan. And it'll go back to talking with athletic trainers at previous schools to see where they're at. But, with him, we just came in. He's been fully cleared to play on the court, trying to figure out what best is going to suit him, working on the single leg stuff, big thing of getting all of that strength back into his leg. And one thing that I have to talk with Show about every once in a while, just to remind myself, is that I mean, he's still just a year out. Like this is the first 6 weeks of basketball that he's played in, a full calendar year. So like, all these body pains and stuff like that, it's normal. He's going to have some of that. Athletes are going to have that when they're still a year out, up to 2 years out of a major surgery like that. So it's just trying to get myself to remind myself and remind, that athlete that, hey, we're going to have some bumps and bruises along the way. If you feel strong, you're stable, like we're going to be okay, but we're going to have some days where you just don't feel very good. And that's part of it. And so just trying to game plan, this first few weeks this summer. In my mind, we're not winning the MVC championship and going to the tournament today. So we've got some time until the season starts. Coaches might not like hearing that. We can
coaches
help.
Don't watch this.
Hey,
so just
we can help win a championship today. We're preparing to win a championship, but the game's not today.
Yeah.
So we've got plenty of time until we're on the court and competing against other teams. So I like to take a little bit more time in the summer, get these guys going. That way, we've got this 2-week break coming up where everybody's going to go home. I want their bodies to feel as good as they can. That way, when we get back in August and we hit the ground running August 20th or whatever that day might be, we're ready to roll and guys are feeling good. So, taking a little bit more time in the summer, as annoying as it can be, because you got a brand new roster and you want to see what they can do on the court. I think it's a little more positive than having them, be sitting out on September 1st.
Yeah, and it's another comparison that you made. And look, when you talk about guys who have been around this program for a while, you're one of them, along with Javon and Justin. You've had a lot of years here and seen different teams, and you've been a part of different staffs as well since you've been here, Riley. Of when you look at a guy like Isaiah, and even early on this summer, you're like, hey, I can see a little bit of Xavier Johnson in him in terms of how he treats everybody, him as a personality in the training room. You see these guys in a different light. Why does X come to mind for you when you interact with Isaiah? Because I think you've even had a conversation with X and said, hey, Isaiah reminds me a little bit of you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just the joy, the happiness, right? He comes in every day. He acts like a pro, and that was the biggest transition that I try to tell people with X when he went from his first year to his second year, and everybody was wondering, like, how did he explode and all this? Well, he took care of his body. He did all the stuff, outside of the practice hours. Yeah. He really became a pro going into that year, and that's the same thing that Isaiah is doing. He comes in, he doesn't ask questions of why we're doing this. He doesn't ask questions of what is this going to do for me. He's just like, all right, I trust you. Let's get it done. I want to feel good. And so that's a big thing, but just his positivity, he goes around, he's got just this little grin that when something goes good, he's just got a little cheeky smile. And I think that's something that X did too, is they both they treat everybody really nice. They greet you when they come in. They're always saying thank you for everything that you've done. And it's just little intricacies like that make you, me, I feel good with doing stuff with him just because he's just such a nice kid. And I think that's what really helped X go farther. But then as soon as Isaiah gets on the court, he's a killer. You know what I mean? Like he just the movements that he does on the court, and he's quiet about it. He's not letting people know that he's getting buckets. He's not letting people, he's not shouting out to anybody. He gets the ball, he goes at you, he scores, goes back on defense, he gets the ball, goes at you again. So it's just little stuff like that. He just lets his game talk, and then he gets off the court, and he's just a friendly guy.
And there are times within a practice where he may not say anything, but the guys who are guarding him, and they feel, man, I've guarded this guy for like 25 really good seconds, and then he hits like some fadeaway shot, and it just goes nothing but net. They're like, it's just that it's like you're pretty darn good.
Yeah.
When you can make guys have that reaction, which X did a lot, and Isaiah, Calron's had a lot of those moments this summer too.
No, they're fun. Those two are fun to watch on the court when they've got the ball in their hands. They've done some stuff that just leaves you kind of shaking your head like, dang, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I was talking to Calron and Isaiah at the end of last week after open gym about one Isaiah's, snake the ball screen. kind of just stopped at the free throw line and hit a fadeaway. And we were standing right next to each other. And we were just like,
pretty good. If we're going to make those shots consistently, it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, that ain't too bad. So, no, it's really fun to watch these guys with the ball in their hand and all the guys on the team. You know, there's some different things that each person brings to the team that it's fun to watch them play.
What's neat is with your role, again, you see guys in so many different lights, and not just our athletes, but even the coaches as well. And now this is a second full year where you know all the assistants, you know the head coach and Scott Nagy. You've even done some like home improvement for Coach Nagy on the side this summer. You and your dad, I know Harris has played a part in that, and of course Adam, our good buddy, you know, he has come out to help you with those projects. Just what it means to know that you've built a relationship where, of course, Coach Nagy trusts you, not just with these guys and within the program, but, man, you're even pretty good with some home improvement stuff and can add some things to the Nagy household.
Yeah, I was strolling around Apple Creek visiting Taylor one day, and he called me, and it's the middle of the day. We don't have basketball. It's like, oh, man, what happened with the team now? He's going to ask me questions about somebody, like something happened. She's like, hey, you think you could build a pergola for me? I mean, I'll come over and take a look at it. So I spent a few minutes out there talking to him about it. And my dad, I mean, he's been phenomenal since I was a kid in high school, middle school, forcing me to come do projects with me. It wasn't the most exciting thing to do, but that's been a big tool that I've gotten in my bag of things that now I'm doing at my house too. But he's taught me a lot with all of that. So now that they're moved down to Southern Illinois this last year, he's been helping me with some different things. So I just asked him, I was like, hey, you want to take a crack at this? And so, yeah, we spent a few days out there, and from what I've been told, it turned out pretty good. So,
well, I think you would know if it didn't turn out very good, and maybe that would cause some tension within the practice realm from time to time.
Yeah, my dad, he's taught me the tail light warranty. So you can ask questions about the project and get it fixed until you can't see the tail lights on the road anymore. So that's a little tough one to give to Coach Nagy since I have to see him every day.
Yes, that's a little bit tougher. I think your dad's going to have to maybe come up with some new warranty plans, especially if you do them for people they're a little bit close to.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But it was big time having Adam come out there. He had the tin snips working, cutting the steel roof. That was huge. So appreciate him helping us out.
And I can just sense his smile right now that we're even talking about him.
Oh, there's no doubt he's gonna be red in the face, cracking up big time right now.
No question. Diehard Saluki man, just loves everything about Saluki athletics and eats everything up. So we had to, and he makes you look good on a lot of projects. So we just can't give you all the pub.
Absolutely, and we got to get the rest of the Road Dogs included too. So they've been planning their trip. I'm excited to see where they're going this year.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Road Dogs. As you mentioned, it's been a group that you've been really a part of in all reality. You go on the road with the dogs all the time. So you're always a part of the Road Dogs when they go on the road. But, of course, the Flam family, all those guys have been such huge friends of yours, and what it means and why it really makes what your job is even more special when you can cultivate those type of relationships when you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. It puts such a big smile on my face when I see them at road games. Obviously they come to every home game for men's basketball. But when they're planning their trips on, they've gone to Drake, Northern Iowa, Missouri State, just having fans that are going to make it an issue to drive to a game that's 4, 6, 8 hours away every year. That's just so huge for our basketball program because this past year they went to Missouri State and they got to meet the Hensley's parents and Steffi's parents and some other parents that, they take that relationship from game to game. And now all of a sudden we've got parents that understand the culture of Southern Illinois basketball and kind of the family that even the fans bring. And so, they get rowdy and then our guys see that on the road, and it, gives you a little juice playing on the road when sometimes arenas might not be packed, or you got arenas that are just all, the home fans that are yelling, and all of a sudden you've got a few people, chanting the Dogs because they're loud. They're loud.
A little, yeah.
Little obnoxious. But
I was going to say, Austin really loves opposing bands.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
He's got a very special relationship with, I think, at least one band member across everywhere he's been in the Missouri Valley Conference.
So, no, it's huge to have those guys come to road games, and I love being able to talk to them before and after games, and it's just so positive for the basketball team and having that when you're facing a little uphill battle when you're playing on the road, because it's tough on the road.
And it's even better when they can help the radio guy when he didn't pack maybe enough equipment on the road and make a pit stop on their way to the arena and bring it to Salute Your Radio as they did in Springfield this past year. Let's wrap it up on some of these notes, Riley, just for the team. Again, we are talking in the second to last week. Next week will be the last full week of the summer. Just the importance of the time right now with the guys of, as you said, of what you try to do to make sure that all of them, their bodies are feeling good, that they can be in about as good of a position as they can be when they leave here, and then ultimately be ready to go when they come back.
Yeah, it's just making sure that they're doing all the right things on the court, in the weight room, in the training room, trying to get them to make sure that they're taking care of their body. Coach has been preaching, you have to be a pro this year. And going forward, you have to be able to take care of your body. It's not just what you do on the court during the required times. It's what you're doing on the court, outside of it, in the weight room, outside of what, Coach Show has been doing in that hour, 15 minutes that he gets in the weight room, and just the things that are pre-practice, post-practice in the athletic training room with me. It's what you're doing outside of all that. How are you eating? How are you sleeping? Stuff like that. So just making sure that we're, telling the guys that, hey, you've got to be doing this, but we don't want to harp on it, because as soon as you start harping on it, then you start to get a little bit of that pushback of, oh, I'm not going to do it because they're telling me to do it. So you're just trying to get as much positive encouragement on getting all that stuff done in the next 2 weeks, because you have this long break that, okay, you get to let your body relax a little bit. You still got to work out when you're at home, but you get to, it won't be quite as intense. And then when we get back, like we're going to hit the ground running. We're going to attack this thing.
Well, and for you, how are you eating and sleeping knowing that baby number 2 is coming on the way to the Hoistad family with you and Taylor, and Izzy's going to be a big sister?
Yeah, no, it's, we're eating well. Probably not the most healthy stuff. Like last night,
but mostly, how's Taylor doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I am worried about you, but Taylor's obviously the one that's going through it.
She's a saint.
Yes.
She's taken everything. I mean, so good. She's a rock star. Everything that she does and sacrifices for myself to be able to work in athletics is huge. I'll never be able to repay her with that. And then being able to take care of Izzy and what we've got coming in September.
Yes.
I think the week before official practice starts is when it's going to happen.
Great time. Yeah.
So, no, I'll never be able to repay her. Like I said, she's taken everything head on. She does everything so well. Never is complaining about anything. And it's something that obviously I'll never know.
Yeah.
So it'll be some long nights in preseason, but it'll be one of the best experiences, obviously, of our life. And Izzy is so excited about it. She's on another one. But no, both of them. I've been blessed with those two ladies in my life, and it'll be great. And obviously, we've got extra support with both my parents and her parents being in town. So we've got extra hands to help, and some of the other sports teams in the arena too. They're always asking about her. So we've got plenty of Izzy fans, and they're all excited about whatever baby number 2 is going to be named. So there'll be plenty of people that'll be there to help us out. So that'll be good.
Well, I wanted to wait till the very end because you mentioned, people, hey, Taylor doesn't complain, all that stuff. Well, I want to bring up someone who does complain a lot, okay? And that's none other than our good friend, Dr. Schoenwolf.
Oh.
Was able to see him. He's been at each of the caravan stops, so, he's obviously a huge part of what we do. But, man, Doc Schoenwolf from time to time, One, how do you think he would handle in this type of setting? Like, I think during fall camp, I'm going to have to apply the pressure and see if we can get Doc Schoenwolf here on the podcast and video sphere. Video would be very entertaining for sure. We just can't have his vocal tones.
Oh, he would have some good insight for you.
I'm sure.
Like I usually tell people, it's probably not things that we should be getting out, because I have plenty of those comments during games and everything that they're like, yeah, we probably can't put that on there, or Riley probably can't be talking to you. But no, I think he just plays that game. He likes to, because we do ask for a lot. The sports medicine staff, we do every day. We're always ringing his cell phone, and he likes to gripe you a little bit, but it's all fun and games. He bends over backwards for us. Him and his staff over there, they do such a good job with getting us what we need and when we need it. So, he's great to work with.
Absolutely.
And he's a huge Saluki supporter.
He is,
whether he wants to admit it or not.
Yes. He is a huge Saluki supporter.
Out there.
And he also is saying, Luke, please don't give me shout-outs during football games. I always say, well, let's hope that this year is a much better year from a health standpoint. And it's always a good thing when I don't have to talk about Mike and Doc Schoenwolf and all these guys. I mean, I love giving them shout-outs, but let's just make sure they're like storyline shout-outs, not, they're on the field.
Yeah, exactly. I thought negative-wise, I thought you were going to talk about Justin.
Oh, well, I mean, the pickle's obvious. Yeah. I mean, it just depends on his mood from time to time.
I got to give him credit, though. He's changed his attitude lately.
He has. It
has been really good.
It's been the positive summer for Justin Inslee, who, of course, is the backbone for the program. And I know a guy that you, of course, have been, not just you, but your family, of course, have embraced. And you can tell that Izzy's favorite uncle, I guess, would probably be Uncle Justin.
There's
probably
no doubt.
Because she thinks Justin's just like 5 years older than her. Yeah.
Spent a couple nights at our house when he was moving this summer. She's still been wondering where he's at. But no, Justin he's huge, not just for basketball, but just athletics in general. Always willing to help out anywhere. He's really become family with us, and Taylor, Izzy, myself, we all love the kid, and he's helped me so much. I know he was telling you about how I've helped him, but no, he's been huge with sports medicine, helping out not just me, but any of the athletic trainers that we have on staff that have been here throughout the now 7 years, I think he said, that he's been here.
Yes.
Coming on year 7. So, it's made my life a lot easier, especially when we've had the last few years. He's always been able to help me, like when I've got to go run over there and pick her up or take her somewhere. He's always got court coverage for me with some different things and making sure guys know that I'll be back or coaches know where I'm at. So, basketball would struggle without Justin. As much credit as I don't want to give him, the kid he's unbelievable with everything that has to pertain to basketball and athletics here at SIU. No, he's been awesome for us.
And what's amazing is you guys, how highly you talk about each other when you sit down with me in separate interviews, but then you get you both in the same room, and none of those compliments will fly.
No, in person I would never do it.
In person, no.
Especially around cameras, there can't be proof of it. No, him and we're on the road together. He's my roommate on the road. We're, go out to eat. We're side by side all the time. And to think where he started as a manager his freshman year to where he is now it's unbelievable. His trajectory is going fast, and it's going up. He's going to do a lot of special things in his life. I can't wait to see him. I hope a lot of them are here as long as I'm here. He's a huge part of athletics here, and a huge part of basketball. Things run so smoothly because of him, whether it's scheduling and at the arena, scheduling on the road, travel, all that stuff. I mean, he brings it to it every day and does a great job.
What's amazing for me is I think we've almost gone a half hour, and we've not talked about the Minnesota Vikings. We've not talked about South Dakota. I mean, we've not talked about some things that are just, really, like you can't almost go like a minute without mentioning some of those.
Well, you know, I don't like to put the jinx on it, but there's a lot of positivity surrounding the Minnesota Vikings this year. But I got to keep it leveled, you know. I don't like to get too far ahead of myself.
Justin Jefferson will appear sometimes at a Saluki basketball practice.
Yeah,
so,
it is crazy, and I got my childhood helmet from my parents this year, so we might be in full uniform come mid-season, depending on how we're doing.
You know how much I appreciate you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, but also for our fans to just give them some insight into the program. And, man, hard to believe the summer's almost over. It's almost time to really get this thing rocking and rolling. We appreciate the time, Riley.
No, thank you, Luke. And like everybody said, just the excitement around Saluki basketball, I'm real positive about it. And it's been an awesome summer, whether it's talking with the guys, talking with you, with Justin. I think we've got some really good things going for us, and there's been some fans coming to practices and coming to workouts that hopefully they're seeing just the differences that we've had, and we're going to get after it when it comes September, and I think it's going to be a good year. You know, a lot of excitement. So I appreciate you having me on. It's always a blast to talk. I mean, we do it every day.
We do, and honestly, it's like this even when the camera's not here. You know,
it's always an easy conversation with you, and just looking forward to another year of sports with you, transitioning from one to the next, and as we, baseball will be right around the corner, and you and me get to talk about JC all the time. So
yes.
it'll be here before we know it.
The legend JC, as Jake Carroll. Big Roldy, as he's known around these parts. Riley Hoistad. We got one more interview this week. Will Veasley will be on Friday, and then it's our final week of coverage next week for Saluki basketball. This is Summer Access 2025.